My dear students, today I want to talk to you about something that is far more important than techniques, strategies, or even textbooks, and that is the teaching mindset. You see, anyone can memorize a lesson, follow a curriculum, or stand in front of a classroom and talk, but not everyone can truly embody the spirit of a teacher. To teach effectively and to leave a lasting impact on others, one must first develop a teaching mindset, because mindset is the foundation upon which everything else is built. If your mindset is strong, positive, and rooted in growth, you will not only teach better, but you will also transform lives. Let me explain what I mean in very simple terms. A teaching mindset begins with purpose. If you do not know why you are teaching, if you do not have a deep sense of mission, then your teaching will always feel like a burden. But when you understand that teaching is not simply about delivering facts, but about shaping the future, you begin to carry your role with pride and passion. I want you to realize that teaching is one of the few professions that create all other professions. Every doctor, engineer, leader, or innovator once sat in a classroom, guided by a teacher. That means you, as a teacher, are not just preparing lessons. You are preparing lives. So the first step in developing a teaching mindset is to anchor yourself in this purpose. You must wake up every day believing that what you do matters, because it does. Now, purpose alone is not enough. The teaching mindset also requires empathy. To teach effectively, you must understand the hearts and minds of your students. They are not robots who can be programmed with data. They are human beings with emotions, struggles, dreams, and fears. A great teacher does not just ask, "Did my students learn the lesson?" but also, "How do my students feel while learning the lesson?" When you adopt this perspective, you begin to see students not as empty vessels to be filled, but as unique individuals to be guided. Developing empathy means listening, paying attention, and creating an environment where students feel valued. And when students feel valued, they are more open to learning. Another crucial part of a teaching mindset is adaptability. The world is changing faster than ever before. Technology, culture, and even the way children think and interact are constantly evolving. If you cling only to old methods without flexibility, your teaching will soon lose relevance. That's why you must train your mind to adapt. Think of yourself as a lifelong learner, not just a teacher. Be willing to use new tools, explore innovative techniques, and adjust your approach depending on the needs of your students. An adaptable mindset allows you to see challenges not as barriers, but as opportunities to grow. And when you model this attitude, your students also learn resilience. Patience is another quality that naturally grows out of the teaching mindset. Remember, not every student will grasp concepts immediately, and not every class will go smoothly. There will be disruptions, misunderstandings, and moments when you feel like giving up. But if you develop patience, you will remind yourself that growth takes time. Just as a seed needs nurturing before it becomes a tree, a student needs repeated guidance before mastery. Patience means you do not judge students by their current ability, but by their potential. And believe me, when students sense that their teacher has patience and faith in them, they become more willing to try, fail, and try again until they succeed. Discipline and consistency also form the teaching mindset. If you are inconsistent, if one day you are enthusiastic and the next day careless, students will not know what to expect. But when you consistently show up with preparation, energy, and fairness, you build trust. Discipline is not only about managing students, it is about managing yourself. It means setting a routine, sticking to promises, and practicing what you preach. A teacher who asks for punctuality but arrives late, or who demands respect but does not give it, cannot cultivate an effective mindset. So remember, the teaching mindset is not only about what you want students to do, but also about the example you set through your own behavior. Communication is another element of the teaching mindset. Some people think communication is just about speaking clearly, but it is much deeper than that. Communication means connecting. It is the ability to explain complex ideas in simple words, to listen actively to students' concerns, and to use body language and tone to inspire rather than intimidate. When you develop a communication-oriented mindset, you stop asking, "Did I teach?" and start asking, "Did they understand?" This shift changes everything, because it places the learner at the center of the process. Let us also talk about creativity. A rigid mindset sees teaching as a script to be followed, but a teaching mindset sees it as a canvas to be painted. Creativity does not mean turning every lesson into a game or a show, but it does mean finding fresh and meaningful ways to engage students. It might be telling a story, using a real-world example, or encouraging students to solve problems in their own way. Creativity allows you to make learning enjoyable, and when learning is enjoyable, retention increases. A creative teaching mindset says, how can I spark curiosity today, instead of, how can I finish the syllabus quickly? Now I want to stress the importance of reflection. A teaching mindset is not static. It grows through reflection. Every class you teach offers you lessons about yourself. Maybe your explanation was too fast, maybe your examples were too limited, maybe your tone discouraged a shy student from speaking. When you take time to reflect, to think about what went well and what could be improved, you grow as a teacher. Reflection prevents stagnation and reminds you that even teachers are learners. Developing the habit of reflection turns mistakes into stepping stones and successes into habits. Confidence also plays a key role. Students can immediately sense whether their teacher is confident or insecure. But confidence does not mean arrogance. It means believing in your ability to guide, even when things don't go perfectly. Confidence grows from preparation, practice, and self-belief. A teaching mindset nurtures this confidence by reminding you that you don't need to know everything. You just need to be willing to learn with your students when you don't have all the answers. This humility combined with confidence builds respect and trust. Finally, let me tell you about passion. Without passion, teaching becomes mechanical. Passion is what keeps you going on days when you are tired, when the workload is heavy, and when progress seems slow. Passion is what lights up your eyes when you explain a concept, what makes you celebrate a student's small victory, and what inspires you to keep finding new ways to make lessons meaningful. Passion cannot be faked for long. Students know when a teacher truly cares. A teaching mindset is deeply rooted in passion, because passion turns ordinary teaching into extraordinary impact. So, my dear students, when you ask me how to develop a teaching mindset, I say this: begin with purpose, nurture empathy, embrace adaptability, practice patience, model discipline, strengthen communication, unleash creativity, reflect regularly, build confidence, and above all, teach with passion. These are not just qualities to memorize. They are habits to practice every single day until they become part of who you are. Developing a teaching mindset is not an overnight process. It is a journey. But once you commit to it, you will find that your role as a teacher is not only about instructing others, it is also about shaping yourself into a better human being. And when you grow, your students grow with you, and together you create a future filled with knowledge, wisdom, and possibility.